Welcome to Did She Really Say That? The podcast for women who are done following the traditional business rules that don't serve us. I am your host, Katrina Van Housden, and in every episode, we break down what it really takes to scale your business as a woman. No burnout, no BS, no apologies. So if you're ready to discover how your natural female intelligence can become your biggest and most authentic advantage, grab your free guide at createherplanner.com/free. Now let's dive into today's episode. Well, welcome back, everybody, to Did She Really Say That? And for all of my listeners, you know, this is powered by Truth Bomb Marketing and the Create Her Method. The Create Her Method is a cyclical planning and business recalibration method, ladies. Like, we know that we design businesses differently than men do out there. So this is about alignment and about trusting your natural rhythm. And that's really why I had to have Terry on with us, because we are in so much alignment around what it is to be a female in business, right? So rather than pushing and forcing things in our lives, it's about listening to our bodies. It's about capacity-based planning. It's about trusting your intuition. And that's really where the Create Her process starts. And this is why we're on this podcast of Did She Really honestly, truly say that? Because Terry's going to shock you in a lot of ways. And I'm so excited to have her on here. Why? Because she is the amazing strategist, right? So she's a guest here with me today because she has a intuitive leadership strategy, really, truly, right? And when I say that, I mean it because she even stopped me in my podcast as we got started with this episode. And I share that because sometimes we need each other to better at what we're doing. So not only did Terry get to coach me before this podcast, but she also has a process that she's called created, which is called the shiftology process. And I love this because I've actually purchased this from her. And I love what she's creating. We're going to talk a little bit about the card decks she has and the process that she's been building. But I love her because she's working with high achieving leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs who have achieved external success, but they know something deeper is calling them forward. And it truly is. How many of you in the audience are hearing this and going, yeah, I could use that, right? So through her work, she helps leaders integrate intuition into how to make decisions, lead others, and realign their work with who they've become. See, ladies, we all know that we've had a lot of life experience, but who we're becoming changes all the time. And what Terry's known for is bridging that strategic leadership with intuitive intelligence in a grounded, practical way that really creates clarity, confidence, and meaningful change for what you're designing in your business. So, Terry, I am so excited to have you with us today.
I'm excited to be here. I mean, we had so much fun before this all started. We've been laughing like crazy. This is
Yeah.
going to be wonderful.
It is. And I really want to, invite you first off, because I know a lot of our audience, when we talk about did she really say that, we're talking to female entrepreneurs or women that are wanting to get into the business world. And so, can you kind of share your journey? What led you into this business of shiftology, how it got created? Just give a little bit of background for our audience.
Well, I've been in business since I was 18 years old. This business I've had for 38 years, and it has evolved, it has grown. And also being between being a mom and a military spouse, we're US Navy and being Army, and all the things that we've done, had to learn how to shift constantly between one role and another, and going a mile a minute. And unfortunately, or fortunately, it depends on how you look at it, I burned out multiple times. But through that burnout, my focus was in healing myself. After the last burnout, I was like, why does this keep happening? What is going on? And it really was a um, look in the mirror moment. That what was the one thing that was common in all these burnouts?
Yeah,
Me.
same.
So after the last burnout, where I ended up in the ER, and they told me, "Oh, this is just anxiety."
Yeah,
Uh,
I've heard that once or twice before.
yeah. My friend who was with me, she's a nurse and she's also a holistic practitioner like I am, and I kept telling her she trusts my intuition. My
Mm.
intuition is very sharp. I've learned to listen to my intuition. And I kept telling her I wanted to go to this specific store. I live in Rhode Island, and it was the Christmas tree shop, which is a seasonal store, but it was, oh, I love the Christmas tree shop. It doesn't exist anymore, but I love that thing. And I kept telling her we needed to go there. I don't know why. I needed to go there. I needed to go to the book section. And she's looking at me like I have three heads on my shoulders. And I got in there and I literally ran through the aisles to the book session. And I'm like, why am I here, guys? I'm
Yeah.
what intuition? What are you telling me? And at that moment, I looked at the top shelf and those books came at me and landed on the floor. And it was called the HeartMath solution. And so this was 1990, around 97, 98, something like that.
Okay.
And it fell at my feet. And I went home and I started reading this thing. And it was very technical and all that other good stuff. But what I realized was that this was the answer to breaking the habit of who I was to become who I wanted to be. And I went back the next day and I bought every copy that was on that shelf. I think there were like 10 copies. And that was the beginning. I got certified with HeartMath in 2001 and all about, excuse me, stress management. And that was the beginning of a lot of working with clients to help them become coherent, connecting their brain and the head with their brain and the heart, and start this business the way it really needed to be. The
Mm.
I became a Reiki master in 1998, and that opened up all of my intuitive gifts. That was when I got my first attunement. It was like, whoa, what just happened? Bam, 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 bam. Everything just escalated. And then from there, little by little, so HeartMath Institute. Then from there, I became certified as a coactive coach and then an executive coach, all within 2000 and 2001. Opened up my own leadership center.
Mm.
uh, so there you go. That's what started this business all about. And when you look at all the shifts, it was one of those I kept shifting and shifting, not knowing in many ways what I was actually doing.
How many of our audience listening to that kind of goes, yeah, that's how I feel right now. And not knowing what I was doing. Like you're making these shifts and you're not realizing what these shifts are eventually going to become. I think that's the big part of this
Yes,
too, right?
exactly
Because
right.
you said something around like who I had to stop being or let myself like who I was in the past and who I was becoming. And I think a lot of women that were in this space right now, as we're recording this and bringing this to our audience, there a lot of women are feeling this right now, Terry. Like they're literally in this space, like I feel like I need to leave the old me behind and authentically, and I hear the word authentically, and I'm not sure that's actually the word that's out there for women, but to truly embrace who we are and designed as beings to be in the world.
I am going to use the word authentic. I'm going to
Okay.
tell you why. Because in society, we get indoctrinated into
Mm,
doing what other people want us to do. And that
correct.
starts from the family unit where mom and dad tell us what to do, how to do, versus talking with us about emotions, feelings, that kind of thing. It's very on the surface.
Yeah.
And then you go into school and you've got to learn things their way. They don't always honor who you are. And then you go into college to learn something and to study something that you may love, but it's got to be done their way. So the reason why I'm saying authentic is because, and I'm going to give you an example of where I'm going with being authentic with yourself, is when we stop being who others expect us to be
Mm,
and own who we are with authenticity and with integrity. When we really see who we are, see who we're meant to be, see what we want to do, how we want to do it, that's when we really become who we are meant to be in this lifetime. And it can be a very difficult journey. I've had to leave a lot of people behind in the last few years. Okay. And it's because I was playing small with my spirituality.
mm,
I was playing small with my intuition. I was playing small with admitting that I do, all of the gifts that have opened up for me as a healer. And I would be ridiculed by family members or not taken seriously, which ended up being a theme, not taking seriously. Guess what? My dad never took me seriously when it came to my holistic skills. But before he died, 2 years ago now in June, it'll be June, he actually said to me, Ana Teresa, I see the angels behind you. And he passed away at 98 and a half. So it took that long for him to acknowledge my intuitive and spiritual skill sets. So a lot of us who are very tuned and tapped in, and as Abraham says, turned on, Abraham Hicks, okay, it's sometimes very hard to get that. It's not sometimes, it is hard
It is hard.
to stay in integrity and authenticity with who we are.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't really care. I've had people actually say to me, "Are you influenced by Satan?"
You must be possessed because intuition is the devil's work or something crazy like that.
And that's when I'm like, "You're done. Go away."
Yeah.
I mean, you've
But
got to be kidding me.
yeah, so but let's dive into that a lot because I think women are have been really been told over the years like their intuition is, it's this fall. So it's this feelings, you're too emotional, you're too whatever. But that
Yeah.
intuition is really a super hyped in way of being for women. I think that intuition is what is our divine connection, to be
Yeah.
honest. That is our constant download. So why do
It
you
is.
feel and what have you discovered for yourself on how intuition is showing up for you and how it shows up for the individuals that you're working with these high achievers that you're working with?
It's so much fun.
I knew you were going to say that.
It is so much fun because, when someone comes to me and they're seeking truth for
Mm,
themselves, one of a lot of the trauma that we experience growing up in school and all the stuff that I talked about before, that actually lives inside of us.
correct.
And it lives inside of us in the form of energy. So to be able to release, and we call that trapped emotions. So, and this is part of the emotion code and body code that I'm certified in. Dr. Bradley identified it as being an energy that is the size of an orange or a grapefruit. And all these trapped emotions live inside of us. And he says there's several hundred. I'm like, oh no, no, honey. We're talking thousands because
Thousands.
I do this. I've been doing this for almost a decade now, every day. And it's like there are thousands of trapped emotions. And,
Yeah.
and one person said to me, "Oh, I can't wait until you completely heal me so I don't have to worry about this stuff anymore." I go, "Oh, no, 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 love. This is going to continue on in different ways
Yep.
until the day you're in a pine box at the end of your life. Because we are human and we experience things every day. And as we grow and we release a lot of the stuff from our past, we release a lot of the trapped emotions that are stuck within us that cause us to be certain, to have certain behaviors. When we
Dis-ease.
dis-ease, and it actually creates, it shifts us out of coherence.
Yeah.
It dysregulates our body. And when we clear out all of those emotions, we start to feel better and feel better and feel better and feel better and feel better. The layers keep coming off. A lot of the stuff these trapped emotions we inherited from our parents, our siblings, our teachers, friends from the past, each event that happens. And
Yep.
when we clear that out, it really helps us to be more and more of who we are authentically. Now,
Mm.
here's the thing. And I'm going to talk about the shift bridge for a moment, if I may.
Please do.
Okay, the I am, which you and I have talked about,
Yes.
which the Vision and Vibe deck is all about the I am. Um, Imagine yourself standing on a bridge, and I call it the shift bridge. You're in the center of the bridge. The past is on one side, the future is on the other.
Mm.
When we live in the past, we live a life of regret. When we live in the future, we're living a life of worry. But when we live in the present moment, in the middle of that bridge, okay, we are completely present in the I am, present in the moment. Abraham calls it the vortex. Other folks may call it the quantum field. All right. And when we live in that present moment, we can call who we want to be to us,
Mm.
release the past, and become authentically who we want to be. But it's about releasing. You can't be who you want to be doing the same stuff over and over again. That's insanity. Okay,
True.
insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a difference. It's about changing our behaviors, changing our perceptions, changing our words, reducing the anger, reducing the worry, reducing or clearing out all of the negative emotions so that when we keep focusing on what's wrong in our world, our bodies just go bazonk. We go crazy. And when
We
we do
do.
that, we don't listen to our intuition at all because our stressors are way, way up here. And we're going from the past to the future, past to future, past to future. And we are completely circumventing us standing on the shift bridge in the present moment in the I am. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I think what I heard, and for all of our audience, I'd love to hear your comments around this also. There are moments where we are in that set space where we're so worried about what people are thinking about us, which could be the past. Like you've done something and now you've got people worried about what you've said, done, or whatever. And I've gone through that myself, right? I've had moments where I said something, I'm like, oh my God, what did they think, say, about me? And when you hold on to that and you're not present with what you just delivered, you take that with you, and at the same time then you worry about everybody else's future about what you're going to say and what you're going to do, and there's this constant state of anxiety almost for us. And I think as women too, and you can even point to this, Terry, as a mom, there is the worry about your children, the past, in the future, and there's always this sense of like you're trying to prevent everything that could possibly go wrong in life from happening. So you're always worried about what could happen instead of being present in this moment on that shift bridge and saying, who do I choose to be as a parent today? Who do I choose to be in this moment with um, with my business partner? Who do I choose to be in this moment with my spouse? Who do I choose to be in this moment? And I think that is really when I hear shift bridge, that is that moment of just choosing with intention who you are and not what somebody said that you were in the past or what you are in the future, but really in that moment. So what I heard on the shift bridge is that that's your opportunity to really call forth, and I love that you use this language. You get to call forth who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the gift you just gave to everybody in the audience is that you, especially my women that are listening to this, right? So many of you are going through a change right now. How many of you are going through a shift right now as you're listening to this? You're literally standing in like a decision-making process right now in your life. Do I go forward? Do I stay where I am? And I can feel that amongst you all. And so this is where Terry's work really comes into play and where I invite you to come play with her because when you start becoming presence to the shiftology and what she's able to do for you, her intuition is off the chart. I will tell you that already. And, I think as women, that's the one thing we are deathly afraid of is our intuition. Yeah, Terry's sitting here going, yes. She's like, listen, she's like, yes, we are. We're afraid of it because it opens up a vulnerability and an emotion and a body that we've been told to be shamed around, blamed around, and hide around. And so, or it's got to look a certain way, be a certain way, or something. And I think that's where, I ask you to kind of speak a little bit, Terry, to how does shiftology work for those women that are in that space where we've just been told so much of who we should be. We've been shooting us all over the place on
Yes,
ourselves,
we
right?
have been. We have been.
So let's talk a little bit about that as as you're talking with your clients, as you're working with, and I'm talking specifically to women. So you've experienced it as a mom, as an entrepreneur. What are
Mhm.
some of the shifts or how do you develop that intuition without being scared of it?
Being scared of it is, I think it's part of the process
Ah, okay.
because I respect my intuition.
Mm,
Um, the images that I see, the words that I hear, how I feel, what I sense, um, all of my into this is called clairvoyance. Okay, we see images in our brain. Clairaudience, we hear words.
mm,
Clairsentient, we feel things. Claircognizance, we know things. And all of mine are very heightened right now and have been. Also, when I work with folks, my body tells me, and that's where we get the disconnect oftentimes with women. We're not listening to our bodies. We're not listening to the aches. We're not listening to the pains. We're not listening to, um, and our body has so much knowledge and so much information
wisdom.
for us. It has tremendous wisdom.
Yeah.
And if we listen to the aches, the pains, and um, our quote unquote diseases. And that's a lot of it is caused by those trapped emotions we were talking about.
Mm.
And something Dr. Browley said something like 93% of our diseases manifest with stress. So
Yikes. Wait,
yeah,
hold on. 93%?
around 93%, yeah, if not more. And the thing
Yikes.
is, when you look at when somebody calls me and tells me what is going on with them, I can already tell. I start getting information. I can
Mm.
already tell a lot of what's going on. For example, migraines. And I used to get them a lot. What is going against your grain?
That's
Mm.
good.
Okay.
Migraines, what are going against your grain?
Yeah.
Interesting. I love that.
Um, one of the things with another disease that a lot of us have is fibromyalgia. First three letters are fib.
Okay.
Third syllable is my. What is the lie that I'm telling myself? And this is
Mm.
emotional. I'm a perfectionist. I'm not good enough. I'm not, those kinds of things. And that's the lie. That so it's not about lying that you have the disease. That's not where I'm going. It's about what is the emotional undercurrent that is triggering that. And that's just and I can look at all of that with a lot of the diseases that are out there. You can see what is going on. Um, Cancer. What is the first three? What are the first three letters? Can. What can I do? What can't I do? So, what is, and here's the thing when we keep pushing, feel the energy. You're pushing. It's like, have you ever seen the image of the guy pushing the boulder up the hill? Okay, what does that feel like to you, Katrina?
Heavy, exhausting,
Mm-hmm.
strenuous. Why the hell am I pushing this boulder up the hill is actually the other
Exactly.
question.
Now, imagine the image of somebody already at the top of the hill.
Mm.
They're putting their hand down to pull you up. What does that?
Confidence, gratitude. Their leadership comes to mind on that one because I'm willing to accept and to accept and receive. Like those are the two words that come to mind for that one.
Brilliant. So, and how's your body feel?
With between the two, the first one felt like I was like I could literally feel the heaviness on me, and when I went with the other one, I felt like I was being lifted up, like there was an energy of moving me up
Exactly.
instead of something pushing me back down.
And when we keep pushing, that's the energy that we're carrying. When we allow others to help us, that's the energy that we're carrying. It's a lot easier. We're in flow. And your
Mm.
intuition is that hand reaching down to pull you up.
So listening to that or tapping into that intuition, because there's been moments where I've had my own doubts around my own intuition, or I've been told that my intuition or just how I was experiencing the world at that moment, that I was having a mental break, was how it was framed to me from an outsider view. And it wasn't the experience I had as an inside of me. Like I just felt like I was both present here and in the future of that moment, which is, where I create from. And yet it was perceived on the outside as if I was, maybe a little mentally unstable. And I think that's
I
where
don't know.
Terry's shaking her head for all of our listeners. But I think that's a
I
lot of
don't know.
times when we say things like this as women or we experience it, it's perceived as crazy,
Yeah,
emotional,
right.
um out of whack, out of tune. And so it makes us, I think, as women continue to doubt and shut down that bodily and that emotional sensation or that intuition because it doesn't look the same, especially when I'm surrounded by a male group of individuals.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, when you go to a doctor and talk to them about all this stuff, the first thing they want to do is give you a pill.
Yes, here,
And,
have a
and that
pill. This
and
will fix it.
I can't tell you how many times the doctors wanted to give me a pill. And I looked at them and go, no, no, thank you. I'll figure this out
Okay.
myself.
So
And
that begs the question around the pills and stuff like that. Are you taking anything?
oh, my supplements.
No,
No.
but then it's an honest question, and I ask you
Yeah.
because a lot of the times, I mean, I'm dating right now. I'm going with the dating thing. And the first thing I ask is, "What's in your medicine cabinet?"
Huh, that's an interesting question.
Because I'm super curious. Because the guy I'm dating, I don't want you necessarily have a medicine cabinet full of stuff that you're on. Like my medicine cabinet has like vitamins. Like there's
Hmm.
nothing else in there,
That's all I
and
take are vitamins.
so the supplements because I don't want anything else in there, and nor do I choose to have that in my life. So You talk about the pill or taking something, and I feel like that's another thing that just shuts us down.
Yeah, it does. And I'll tell you, my weak spot in my body is my lower back.
Mm,
So when I wake up and my lower back is feeling good, I know I'm on the right track. But the moment I wake up, it's like, oh God, all right, what am I doing? What is happening here? What are my thoughts? Because we have, the old way of the old version was we would have between 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. However, it's um, a more realistic is we have around 6,000 thoughts a day. Your thoughts are energy.
right.
Thoughts are energy. And energy affects how you think and how you feel. So when my lower back gets triggered, it's like, okay, what was I thinking? What am I
Mm,
feeling? What am I doing? That's what I'm talking about, listening to your body.
yeah.
Because lower back tends to be fear-based,
Mm,
forgetting everything is all right. And a lot of that was coming up because we're printing the card decks right now, and a lot of challenges have come up with it, as we talked about before. And I noticed that my lower back was going. I'm like, okay, I've got to step into not I got to. I am stepping
mm,
into trust. I ended up doing some EFT around it. I ended up doing body and emotion code around it. And I ended up regulating my body, getting back into coherence. And the thing with shifting, the very first step is to stop the stress loop. That's the S in shift.
yes.
Stop the stress loop. The second part is going into coherence, which is connecting the brain and the head with the brain and the heart, which is about breathing deeply. And because the heart sends more messages to the brain than the brain does to the heart. So when we are in that coherent space, our intuition really becomes much clearer. Our intuition becomes online. It really
Mm,
connects when we are coherent in our bodies. And focus, the F in shift, is about focusing. You become clear on what is going on. And the T is about taking aligned action, taking action to where you're meant to be. So the shift part is really those steps. It just happens boom, 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 boom when we pause. We take a pause, take a deep breath, think of something that makes us feel really good. That little pause immediately begins to drop our cortisol levels. It increases our DHEA level. I call it the quick shift. You're entering the quick shift zone. And when you enter the quick shift zone, you're getting yourself back in alignment. And I do quick shift. I've been teaching this now for 25 years. I created quick shift way back when, and it's the one thing that really helped me tremendously
mm,
in staying coherent, staying in alignment, helping me get really organized in my thinking,
mm.
feeling, and emotions. And when it gets really out of control, I get on my rebounder and start jumping. I
Yes. Yes. Rebounders are good. They're so
love
good.
my rebounder.
Yes. So let's talk about the shift and the card deck behind you. So for those that aren't watching the video version of this podcast but are listening, there is a 5 decks that are sitting behind Terry in the image that she has with us. And this actually blends into her shiftology, what she just shared with you and through this process because we just need a little like quick, like intuitive card, I guess you could say. So talk to me a little bit more how this got created inside is an alignment to the Sheftology, the training and the coaching that you do. So how did the card decks come into play?
How did it all start? Oh, good
Yeah.
Lord. That was um, after my dad passed away, I decided to uh, do a sabbatical,
Okay.
step away from everything. And we were preparing for a retreat called Unlock the Power in You. And that's something I've been preparing since 2015. And I wanted a card deck. So in June, took a card deck course. I've taken several card deck courses, but I knew in my heart, intuition, that it was time.
Yeah.
And I started playing with it, and several in the course I realized this is a little bit too much. I need help with this, and I hired the woman who was uh, teaching the course
Mm,
and gave her the artwork, and I gave her the
mm.
content. And
Which is beautiful, by the way. The
thank you,
artwork is amazing.
thank you. I love doing it. Each deck is between 500 to 1,000 hours. of
Easily.
in each one. And the Unlock the Power in You was created specifically because I wanted to hand something to people. Then intuition, I got, oh no, no, you're not done yet. And I remember sitting there going, you gotta be kidding me. Okay.
Come
So then
on.
so then intuitive leadership was created, which is the green deck with the heart. Um, and if you notice, almost every deck, um, a heart is the foundation of it. So then I created the intuitive leadership deck. And all of these cards, this specific series is meant for leaders, entrepreneurs, and change makers. And so we did the intuitive leadership deck, and it's all different. It's got a great series of just insights. And then
Beautiful.
after that came Shiftology, and that's the purple deck. And
Hmm.
then from Shiftology, and I thought I was all done. I go, oh no, 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 no. Vision and Vibe was there. Oh no, Vision and Vibe was the last one. The Angels was next. And there are 14 archangels that
Yes.
are all about leadership and team building. And it's an
Hmm.
international deck. It took me 3 times. I spent so many hours on this deck. That one's the one that probably took me the longest. 3 different groups. The artwork wasn't right. Finally, I got the third one, and I realized, I'm like, why isn't this feeling right? What is going on? And I did a very deep meditation, and it all became very clear. People see angels in different ways, and that's why it turned into an international deck. So I have angels dressed in, Jewish, Greek, Spanish. It's
Embracing the cultural differences amongst
crazy
us
cultural
all.
differences. So there's 14 archangels giving advice. The last one, I had 4 decks, and I kept thinking, okay, what is this last one? And I kept seeing the 4 decks on the shelf, but there was a gray box. The very last box was grayed out.
Hmm.
And I was sitting at the kitchen table, and I literally heard the words, "It's your Vision and Vibe course," which never got off the ground. And everything I did in Vision and Vibe, which is the I am, which
Mm-hmm.
is the lighthouses. We have all different lighthouses on every cover. They're beautiful lighthouses.
They are gorgeous
Yeah,
lighthouses. I was even going
really.
to say, like, if you could see these lighthouses and just the gorgeous, and each one is such, because this is the deck that I have. But the energy, the color, the space that's created for the I am for this vision and vibe deck is extraordinary. Like every time I see one come up, I'm slipping through them. So for those that
There
are
you go.
watching,
Go for it.
you can kind of see like there are some beautiful cards around here, the
Yeah,
hearts. And each one
there you
has its
go.
own different like space between there. But I
Mhm.
mean, just
That
I
one's my
love
favorite.
that one is my favorite. There's this openness to the lighthouse, this directness journey that you have on here. And that's your, I think your mindset, one
Yeah,
that's in
so there's
there.
different categories in all of the decks.
Yes, so there's different categories, there's different images. The money one, I love
Isn't
this
that great?
one when you call forth. So really it does. Like I've gone through here probably not every day, but like when I feel the pull for it, I'm like, man, I just feel like there's something off. And then I go in and it's like, Terry, it's
This
perfectly
is
aligned for exactly where I'm at. Yes.
And this is the one that came up, empowerment. And by the way, I didn't mention these are all virtual. They are
Yes.
all virtual and in the process of being printed.
I'm
So
so excited about that part. You have no idea.
yeah. So what'll happen is when we finally launch in April with the printed decks, the virtual decks will be associated with the print decks.
Yeah,
So
they're beautiful.
they'll be connected. And now, did you see what this one is? And
Which
this
one is
is for
that one?
you and for everybody. This is empowerment.
Empowerment.
Empowerment. And the I am is I am confident, strong, and unstoppable. And that's the message for all of us.
I mean, after all, we are on a podcast of did she really say that? So let's tie into this piece real quick then. So as you were creating your business, the shiftology, these decks that are just freaking amazing. Now we're a bold podcast. So we've had some great conversations here, but have you ever had a moment where somebody has said to you, Terry, oh my God, did she really just say that? Or did she really just do that? Kind of like a shocking moment that you can share with us.
Oh God, there's probably so many of them. Um, Yeah, I am going to share one. And in my late 20s, I owned a manufacturing company.
Mm,
And we built electrical control panels and baggage racks for the railroad industry. I had two partners. They're both men. And there was a lot of stuff going on that I didn't care for. I didn't like. And I began to feel insignificant. I began to feel overlooked. I began to feel I wasn't being listened to. And I was one of the owners, okay, but I owned 51% of the company. And I was so unhappy. And on my way to see a client, I got this image, I got this message to get off the highway, go to um, the rest stop, call my partner, and sell my shares and tell them I'm quitting.
really?
And it was a really, did she really say that moment for them? I
Huh.
remember hearing the pause on the other side, and I've had enough. I've had enough. I'm
And
done.
you walked away.
And I walked away.
That's a did she really do that type of moment
Yep.
for
And I
sure.
walked away. And my dad said to me, I had never known you to walk away from anything. And I said, Dad, do you not think that it was bad enough that I had to walk away? So yeah, that was when I really owned my power. It felt really good, and I just had enough. I didn't want to be treated like that anymore.
Yeah. And I think that's where we all as women are stepping into right now, is that we're no longer accepting what we've been gifted or told is how we should be, that whole shitting again.
Yeah.
So how can we connect with you? What's one of the best ways? I know we were chatting, you have a quiz, I believe that they can take advantage of the sh quick shift zone. It's a
Well,
quiz, I
the
believe
Quick
that you
Shift Zone
have.
is an e-guide. So
Okay,
yes,
so
if
it's
you
an
go
e-guide.
to
So
quickshiftzone.com, you
right.
can download that, and it's that little stress tool that I was talking about that I use morning, noon, and night. And the very last page, or on the last page, you will see what looks like a bookmark, two bookmarks side by side. Print out multiple copies of that.
Mm.
Um, of that page, cut it in half and put one on, it's a bookmark. Put it on the mirror, put it on the refrigerator, put it next to your computer, put it on the wall next to your computer to remind you to shift into your heart, because the heart sends more messages to the brain than the brain does to the heart. So it's so important to be coherent. And I
That
can
is
talk
still
about
a
that till the
shocking
cows.
conversation that we probably need to have you come back and talk about how the heart sends more messages to the brain than
Sure.
the brain does to the heart. Because I have a feeling that as we had the listeners here, a couple of them were like, because I had a pause when you said that. I'm sitting over here going, Terry, that's something new.
Actually, it's not. That is the HeartMath Institute. They've been around for 35 years, something like that.
Yeah,
And
but it feels like it's a conversation that hasn't been being, that isn't or hasn't or is coming around to being had.
yes, it is. And it is the heart itself. And I'll just share this. The heart, the energy, everything is energy. Everything in the world is energy. You know, from the card deck, you can't see this. The card deck to the phone to everything you touch is energy. It's just yes, exactly. Atoms and protons just everything just in a different phase. And our heart, the energy of our heart is can be measured 6 to 10 feet away from the body in a 360-degree circumference. And this is not Terry Wildemann saying this. This is the HeartMath Institute and all of the work that they do. The brain, it's only 2 inches away from the body in a 360-degree circumference, the energy of the brain. So when you connect the energy of the brain with the energy of the heart, magic happens and you become very coherent because you're working with two brains, because the heart is actually a brain.
All right, she really did just say that, and I'm gonna mic drop it right there because I don't know what else to say after that. That landed. That landed like a splash in the electric and energy ocean that just caused a ripple out there. So for all of our listeners, here's my bold request on this Did She Really Say That podcast. If there was anything that Terry said that resonated with you, or you had a thought for a moment and you said, you know what? I think I have a friend that needs to hear this, or this would be aligned with somebody that I know, then share out. By no means is these conversations that we're having with you meant to be just solo conversations. They're an invitation for us to get to know you, for you to get to know Terry and myself, and to invite you into our world.
Mm-hmm.
And inside of that, invite other women, because here's what I know. Terry's voice and all the women that have been on this podcast, Did She Really Say That, have a voice of being heard for the first time. And how do we help more women get heard and get to different leadership levels inside of our world? We share out and we support each other. So continue to support Terry. Definitely quick shift zone guide. It's actually up on my site right now. Get her card decks. They're fantastic. I love mine. And definitely get with her around shiftology. For those of you that felt the calling from her, that felt the pull to say, hey, this is somebody I need to work with, because this is somebody I hear that hears me.
And by the way, to get the cards, just go to cards.shiftology.com.
And all those links and information will be in the show notes. So please check out the show notes, check out those links, click on them, and just support each other as women. This is a really powerful time for us to be connecting and collaborating. And I am sure I'm going to have Terry back later on inside of this podcast, because there's so much juicy stuff going on in her world that I'd love for her to come back and share with us. So again, thank you, Terry, for being on. Did She Really Say That? I am your host, Katrina Van Oudhuizen, and we are having fun. So I will see you all on the next episode. Bye, everyone. If today's conversation hit home, don't just listen. Take the next step. Download the free Create Her Authentically guide at createherplanner.com/free and discover how to build your business in alignment with your natural rhythm. And if you love this episode, please leave a review. It helps more women find the show. I'll see you in the next episode.